The United States has breached Iranian airspace with highly dangerous aircraft despite despite the truce and ceasefire between Washington and Tehran. This fact has become increasingly evident based on information published by a wide range of both Iranian and international news sources, which have provided clear indications that a significant breach of Iranian airspace has in fact taken place, given that throughout the past 2 days we have been observing various local Iranian reports that make mention of explosions. Over on Qashm Island, the Iranian regime leaked information yesterday that their defense systems were engaging drones that had breached Iranian airspace, and specifically over Qashm Island, leading up to this very morning when the Fars news agency, along with various other Iranian media outlets, released this footage which clearly shows that we are currently facing what appears to be a small piece or a scattered fragment of an aircraft that the Iranian air defenses successfully managed to shoot down. And of course, if you take a moment to look at this section, you'll notice that this is actually a fuel tank. It is generally mounted onto the exterior of an aircraft, and it is completely identical to the fuel tanks that are primarily installed and regularly carried by a very highly dangerous and sophisticated American drone known as the MQ-9 Reaper, which is the specific aircraft that typically utilizes this exact type of fuel tank for its operations. What we are observing is an ability that of course enables enables this aircraft to fly for hours longer than the normal flight time of this highly important aircraft, which is nicknamed the Reaper because it usually... This process involves the systematic elimination of key leaders at the highest levels to achieve specific strategic goals, which could be intended for the long term or perhaps even for the immediate short term. Naturally, Iran celebrated downing this drone for its supporters Nani to show they are still capable of countering such craft, and the presence of this drone in the region penetrating Qashm Island and heading toward the coast is a very serious matter. It is true that this aircraft is used for reconnaissance, but the United States has enough reconnaissance aircraft capable of performing such operations at a much higher level than the MQ-9 Reaper we are discussing. Thus, the presence of this aircraft poses a serious threat, clearly indicating that the United States is currently preparing for military operations that may. The operation specifically targets the most critical field commanders serving within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. It has become abundantly clear that these individuals, alongside the Iranian Navy, are absolutely essential to closing off the Strait of Hormuz. We have observed a significant degree of decentralization since the onset of the last major conflict we witnessed, which spanned a duration of approximately 39 days. But it has become clear that the Navy and that there is an important command of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. You are working to close this strait without needing to refer back to Tehran or any other leadership. Naturally, this puts the Iranian side in a significant risk because there are Marines deployed here. The USS Tripoli and the USS Boxer could be very close to this area, carrying thousands of US Marines. Let's not forget the American aircraft carriers as well as the destroyers deployed in this region at the blockade point, which of course impose a naval blockade on this area. Consequently, this is one of the measures that typically enables the American side to control the Strait of Hormuz. One of the key measures we are currently implementing is to strike at their field commanders in order to inflict the maximum possible disruption and damage upon their command and control systems, which will facilitate a direct, swift advance to seize the strait. This confirms that the United States is indeed preparing both on the ground and militarily to advance toward the Strait of Hormuz in the event that negotiations between the United States and Iran fail. We are, of course, awaiting a response from Iran to the United States today to understand what might happen next. And now it is evident that the US military is standing by, awaiting direct orders from President Donald Trump to advance toward the Strait of Hormuz. This has become clear based on the coordinates and the updated satellite imagery released yesterday regarding an American ship, which was identified as an Independence-class vessel. This particular class of ship is highly specialized. As a naval minesweeper, its main role is clearing sea mines, though it also performs a wide range of other vital maritime tasks. It appeared like this yesterday, and of course, looking at the date, this confirms that it was at this point yesterday, approximately 63 or 64 kilometers from the Iranian coast. According to the detailed analysis from Antti Anderson, who managed to identify all these ships and their specific deployment, the Independence-class ship we discussed is located right here in this area behind the blockade line. Additionally, there is another United States Navy minesweeper positioned just past the blockade line, as we can clearly see, oriented towards the distant coast of Oman. If you look closely, you can also observe a destroyer positioned here, which is currently providing essential protection for the USS New Orleans, one of the key vessels within the USS Tripoli Amphibious Ready Group, which is currently transporting a contingent of United States Marines alongside the massive American aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln. I know this clearly demonstrates that if the United States intends to advance here from Mustapas and this is a very logical step. Minesweepers lead the way from two directions to clear any potential threats that could impede the ship's progress, ultimately to secure control over the Strait of Hormuz. And of course, bringing in strategic bombers, rocket launchers, the MQ-9 Reaper and other combat aircraft, all capable of neutralizing existing defenses, key leadership, command and control centers, and communication hubs. These critical and pressing issues could potentially be resolved with one single decisive strike, which would allow U.S. airborne units and special operations forces to achieve a truly major and significant success throughout the entire region. This strategic move would effectively cost the its single most important and valuable bargaining chip, because without maintaining firm control over the vital Strait of Hormuz, Iran would find itself with absolutely no leverage whatsoever in the ongoing and current diplomatic negotiations. However, if we return to the subject of the drone that Iran managed to shoot down, that represents a staggering loss of approximately $35 million, and it serves once again to reveal that Iran still possesses the sophisticated systems capable of shooting down these types of drones. As a matter of fact, the downing of this specific type of military drone aligns with intelligence reports that were initially broadcast by CNN at the start of the truce period established between the United States and the nation of Iran, which indicated that advanced weaponry was being transported directly from the country of China to Iran, with a specific focus on sophisticated air defense systems. US President Donald Trump had already indicated that China has indeed sent weapons to Iran, that the United States knows the locations of these weapons, and that the United States could destroy them at any time. However, what CNN reported at the time was that these weapons, part of what China sent, are man-pads. These are, of course, hidden shoulder-fired missiles and weapons designed to target drones, helicopters, and low-flying warplanes. These systems are capable of achieving their objectives directly. It is now clear that Iran's military has the proven capability to shoot down sophisticated American drones. We are seeing dangerous new developments regarding the MQ-4C Triton. This state-of-the-art U.S. reconnaissance aircraft is designed for complex global coastal and amphibious operations. A highly significant aircraft saw its price rise by 101% in mid-2024, bringing the cost of a single unit to $618 million. There are mysterious things happening with this aircraft. We are not used to seeing such things occur with this plane. As a truce began once again between Washington and Tehran, the aircraft was gathering intelligence in the Strait of Hormuz when it suddenly suffered a malfunction and crashed into the middle of the Persian Gulf on April 9th, as we can see here. On April 27th, the same plane and in the same spot was flying to the same destination when it was badly damaged and forced to make an emergency landing at the nearest base, as it was severely compromised. Please note the date, April 27th, for this aircraft. Suddenly it begins experiencing a series of critical malfunctions at this exact point right here on the screen. The United States has even officially announced that what happened on April 27th was that this aircraft sustained damage and was forced to land safely, and the aircraft was not completely destroyed. They did not clarify the cause of this damage, whether it was a malfunction or something else. Also on April 9th, as we discussed, they stated that the MQ-4C Triton had landed in the middle of the Arabian Gulf without providing a clear reason why this issue is occurring with MQ-4C Triton aircraft at this exact location. No, in fact, today there were also recordings from Flight Radar 2 and Simanijan and Pontifi Nakwa and Farafi Mafi 4 that clearly show, as you can see, this same plane taking off on the same route today. But before it reached the Arabian Gulf, it suddenly issued an emergency distress call reporting a problem and turned back. It remains unclear whether only Iran is capable of damaging these drones in this manner, or if Iraqi factions, for instance, possess these Chinese capabilities that are currently being used. There is no confirmation as of yet, but reports are coming in one after another. It raises significant doubts about what is happening to the MQ-4C Triton, given Iran's capability to shoot down the MQ-9 Reaper we are discussing today. This is especially true given that reports surfacing over the past 24 hours have now confirmed that China played a very significant role in supporting Iran against both the United States and Israel. The Wall Street Journal even reported that China continues to support Iran, providing everything necessary for its drone manufacturing facilities. It is, of course, supporting both Iran and Russia simultaneously. Consequently, there is no let-up in Chinese support, and the resources China serves وأن كندا أردا وأن كان وأن تانا أتنا provides and تبعتنا forwards are crucial for Iran to buy time. Iran is buying time from everything happening here, and this is a significant matter. Time is very important for the Iranian side now, especially since another report was published by the American network NBC News today, stating that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, with the launch of the Freedom Project operation, which aims to open the Strait of Hormuz, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I made the decision to suspend the official authorization for all United States military aircraft to take off from bases located within Saudi Arabia to provide support for Operation Freedom, and that specific action served as a primary reason for why President Donald Trump decided to halt the entire operation. This is what NBC News reported today, and it is also an interesting matter regarding the nature of the Arab Gulf states' relationship with the American president and their view of him in this specific process we are discussing. Naturally, by buying time, Iran is significantly fortifying its nuclear facilities. Today, the Institute for Science and International Security released interesting details about developments at the Natanz facility, specifically in the southern section, the high ground and the mountain here, which is Iran has heavily fortified the facility's eastern side and all of its entrances. Look closely at this entrance. Iran has systematically reinforced it over time. Observe these extensive fortifications. They have completely filled in this entrance. It is now entirely hidden, which effective fine in the vanilidal da عندنا pra and عندك الدا and the text وبحندان عند سواحد got a corridor behind it. At the same time, and you can see that Iran has covered and filled in this entrance as a protective measure to prevent any special operations that could lead to special forces entering this point. Notice the before and after here. Observe the backfilling process. It is very clear that they are working extremely fast to close this entrance entirely. You can also see that the other entrance we noticed a moment ago has been filled in the same way, making these entrances inaccessible. This raises suspicions about what exactly is inside this facility, because Iran carried out the same operation at the Isfahan facility. But why are they doing this here? This could mean that a portion of the 60% highly enriched uranium is located at this site. Iran is attempting to protect this area from bombing through this operation, as it does with its pressure tactics. It is a critical issue, and it fortifies this mountain, making it more resilient against American heavy bunker buster bombs, of course. Consequently, Iran is moving forward and continues to work on its nuclear program. This brings us to a very important issue regarding what was published by the Wall Street Journal yesterday as well, which discussed what was proposed by the United States. In short, what the United States wants is for Iran to agree to dismantle its 3 nuclear facilities, Isfahan, Natanz, and Fordo. It also demands that there be no underground nuclear activities. Everything must be above ground, and that Iran pledges not to acquire a nuclear bomb along with a freeze. In exchange for 20 years of uranium enrichment, Iran is now asking for only 5 years. There is talk regarding the possibility of reaching an interim agreement that would span 12 or perhaps even 15 years, and it is also being emphasized that Iran must eventually realize there will be a significant price to pay if they breach it. This issue, whether they started enriching uranium or there was information about violations by the Iranian side, meaning an increase and extension of the freeze, for a significant number of additional years to come. The nation of Iran is required to ship all of its 60% enriched uranium stocks out of the country, which will most likely be to the United States, just as they have requested, and they must also permit the implementation rigorous and emergency level inspections, and furthermore, the entire inspection process must be strictly maintained. There should be no obstacles when the IAEA or specialized teams request that Iran not oppose this specific issue we are discussing. Therefore, it is unclear to what extent Iran will agree to these conditions. Today, we have observed a significant increase in military shipments arriving throughout the Middle East region, including at least 3 massive C-5M Galaxy transport aircraft. Extremely heavy military cargo has moved toward the Middle East, as have maneuvers by American B-1B Lancer strategic bombers from Fairford base in the UK, which were seen flying in this manner, continuing these daily exercises in preparation for the resumption of military operations against Iran, because there is a possibility that Iran you are rejecting everything despite all the incredibly positive news that we all saw yesterday.